are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Ooh, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast. I'm able to on Twitter. We talked the latest Auburn athletics news as a little bit later than we were expecting. Had a little bit of a goof up when it came to scheduling the show tonight. So we are still pushing through as we get ready to talk about some Auburn football. Signing day was this week, which I think, with how signing day typically runs now, the official national signing day kind of gets pushed to the back. And of course, Auburn did sign one guy in Australian punter Max Bork, and that was pretty much it. But we did get a chance to see the press conference with all three head coaches, the head coach, Alex Golesh, and defense coordinator, DJ Durkin, as well as offensive coordinator, and I hate that, and just left me, Joel, as well. And I hate that his name just escaped me. Joel Gordon. There we go. I'm not stupid, and I'm just a little slow. But DJ Durkin, I'll kind of start off with him and kind of work my way towards the offense. Pretty much all he really talked about was the pass rush of this defense. Has a lot of talent that came in from the SEC as well as around the college football world, and also bringing back some star-studded talent such as Jared Smith, who I think is going to be an absolute beast for Auburn going forward. So, again, super stoked for what this defense is going to look like. Again, bringing back DJ Durkin was massive for Auburn. And again, one of the I'd say when you got him, when you hire Golesh, I think the immediate thing everyone said was your number one recruiting target right now is DJ Durkin, and immediate impact by bringing him back. Which, I mean, that's pretty much all he really talked about in terms of there was a roster turnover in the secondary, but your linebackers you're bringing back are star-studded. So again, there's no real complaints there. But this defensive line is going to be interesting. You did lose a lot of talent on the defensive line, especially with Keldrick and Kieran going to the NFL. You lost guys like Malik Blockton to the transfer portal, as well as some other guys across the board. Amaris Williams, a guy who Auburn was was going to be like the second coming of Keldrick Falk right after him. And then he transferred out and went to Georgia, back-to-back years entering the portal, but this time he did not return to the Plains. So defensive line is going to be very interesting. I don't think it's the biggest question mark on this defense by any means, but I definitely think that the defensive line is going to be a very interesting talking point going forward. Now, offensively, Joe Gordon, I guess the real big thing he talked about in his presser was the play calling duties, where it's going to be more autonomous. I think that's the right word to use there. Everybody's going to have a chance to call plays, which it's better than what was said last year with everybody having a certain down they were working with. And I mean, the way I see it, it's more collaborative, and that's how they are talking about it, and even I mentioned that 90% of the plays that Alex Golesh called last year for USF were touchdowns, even though he said it was probably more than that. But again, I think of that's how it really should be, is the running backs coach is like, hey, we're running the ball very well. Maybe run the ball some more. Hey, well, maybe we're passing the ball a little more. Maybe we try to, attack the secondary a little more, which that works. That's how a good coach runs a football team. Alex Golesh, he really talked about the running backs, how they're going to run the heck out of the ball, which, you love to hear. If Auburn is great at one thing all time, it is running the freaking football. And when you pick up 3 RB1s out of the portal and you bring back Jeremiah Cobb, you kind of set yourself up for a season where you need to run the freaking ball. And again, Alex Golesh knows that. And he also got a quarterback who could run that rock too. But of course, I mean, I don't imagine Auburn's going to be 80-20 in that. I think it's going to be more 60-40 for running the ball to passing the ball, which that works. I mean, you build your offense around running the football. If you can run the football, you can do anything you want offensively. So, and I love the hype it's getting. Again, I think the running back is probably the least worrisome position out of that. I'd put quarterback and wide receiver in that conversation a little bit as well. It's really the offensive line. That's something that Golesh talked about. We're having a little bit of uncertainty and kind of mentioned how he's going to pray about it. Again, earlier on, I looked at the offensive line and I was like, well, it does look improved. But the way Golesh was talking about it, it's not as simple as looking at it on paper and saying that they're going to be good. Golesh actually understands what he's seeing, and he's not seen this full group play together yet. The practice isn't starting until next month, so he's really hoping that this group does pan out. Auburn's not had a good offensive line since 2017, so it would be big time to actually see that happen going forward. But I mean, I truly think that this offense is going to be much improved going forward, which again, it's hard for it to be much worse than last season. Last season was just all over the place. So again, Alex Golesh is always going to be someone I'm going to hype up just because that was my head coaching pick every time it got brought up. And he's saying the right things, which is better than the last couple of coaches that came through Auburn University. And he understands that to run the football, he needs the offensive line to block for him. And he understands that this offensive line performing well is a major indicator on how good this offense can be. If your offensive line can't open up holes in the defense, your running back ain't going to be getting past the line of scrimmage. If they can't hold a block for more than a couple of seconds, your quarterback ain't going to be able to take a shot down the field or even make a pass like on a 5-yard route. So again, the offensive line and the defensive line are question marks going forward, but you have to have trenches in the SEC. Your trenches have to be established to win in the SEC. You look at the last SEC team to win a national title in Georgia, that defensive line was absolutely stout. I can't think of an SEC national champion that didn't have a loaded talent on both sides of the trenches. I mean, that Georgia team, the LSU team, some of the Bama things of yesteryear, even Auburn's last national title team in 2010 required having the loaded front on the D line and a veteran-laden offensive line right in front of Cam Newton. And again, that's why he transferred to Auburn. So again, I think that Auburn is on the right track. The portal, from what I've been hearing, is for the most part done, but there could be guys later on that could be added after graduation. I think that's some of the JUCO guys as well. Signing day, that's come and gone now. So kind of see who all gets added in. I don't imagine you're bringing anyone to be more than depth unless they pan out that way. But for the most part, this is the roster Auburn is going with. I think overall, the 13th in the transfer portal, they were 30th-ish in the high school ranks. So again, it's a roster with talent. And if you got the right guy, then the right guy can lead you to a bright future, which that's what we've seen last year with Indiana winning a national title. They didn't bring in a highly touted transfer portal class or a highly touted recruiting class, but they hired the right guy in Curt Cignetti, and he led them to pay dirt national title, their first ever in program history. So I think Golesh has the opportunity to be that for Auburn without putting a national title in his hands already. But I just think that the mindset Golesh is going in this season has the capabilities to match the same energy that we're seeing with Cignetti at Indiana. Again, hyped up about Auburn football this season again, and just kind of if the offensive line develops, the offense is going to be good, and I trust Durkin to have this defense kind of lock it down to the SEC. Again, I'm still going to be very high on what this Auburn defense looks like going into next season, strictly because I trust the staff to get it done defensively. Offensively, again, that's the question mark. Auburn's had a big issue playing offense over the past few seasons, but I do think that, first season under Alex Golesh, there's a reason to be a little cautious, but I think that you can be cautiously optimistic about what Alex Golesh can do in his first season. Again, not a lot of people were hyping up this roster. I think CBS ranked Auburn like 12th in the SEC in terms of just overall roster. And I think that's a disservice to some of the guys Auburn did bring in. I mean, Byron Brown, I think, earns you a few more wins on your resume than Auburn has seen over the past few years. So with that, going to go ahead and move on to Auburn basketball as they get ready for their Iron Bowl this Saturday on February 7th at 3 o'clock p.m. on ESPN2. Before we get into that, we're going to quick little break. Oh, it's not a break. We're going to continue to talk about some Auburn basketball. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
Of course, get that merch on thewarreport.com. Go to the shop, get your very own college loop merch today. Of course, the merch is only one way for the channel. The best way for the channel, of course, by liking the video, commenting on the video, and of course by subscribing to the channel, where we are on our way to, I want to say 1 million, 2,000 subscribers. I think 1 million is kind of out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, 2,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. Now, as we move on to Auburn basketball taking on Alabama, both teams unranked. I can't remember the last time both of them were unranked. I know it's been a while for both, just being, outside the top 25. Auburn is going into this game a favorite by 1.5 points. ESPN FBI has them with a 60% chance to win this one, and it's going to be a tough test. Again, Auburn, they lost to Tennessee, and they kind of beat themselves up in that one. You came off of a 4-game winning streak. Alabama is currently on a winning streak of 1 after taking down Texas A&M yesterday, but took a beat down by the Florida Gators, which Auburn would have beaten A&M if that bucket had counted. But who am I to say? But Alabama, again, this is they're a very good offensive team. I would say Auburn has the edge defensively in this one. But again, the big guy to watch out here for Auburn is LeBaron Philon. Dude is an absolute monster. 21 points per game. He's 4.9 assists, leading the team there. 1.3 steals as well, leading Alabama in that one. And of course, they have another guard, Nate Holloway, which we're all aware of Aiden Holloway. Maybe he's currently shooting 43% from the 3-point line. But again, if he's in Neville Arena, might have a struggle there. I mean, it's just a issue there. But he is having a great season. But again, a big question mark with this game. And again, Alabama has guys who can, ball out for them. It's Charles Bediako. Not too sure exactly what's going to happen with him in this one. I think the SEC and Greg Sankey is kind of, awoken to the idea of, hey, this guy left college to go to the pros. He should not be allowed to come back to college. So don't know exactly if he's going to be playing in this one, because I think tomorrow they might make a ruling on it. It's all weird and stupid and funky, but, he should have never been allowed to come back anyways, mid-season at that. But Stephen Pearl talked about it, and he's almost rooting for him to play on Saturday, which more power to you. I don't think he makes Alabama any better. I will say, I really don't think he's all that great. And again, the only people really defending the whole Bediako thing is Alabama fans. It's if Auburn can do that, let's go get Jani Broom, see what he wants to do, pay him some NIL money. But again, that's the problem with this situation is just going and getting a guy out of the pros and taking him and back to college and going from pro to semi-pro. And it just doesn't work. If anything, you should just go play overseas. Just go play in the Euro League, and then there you go. You can do that, and you're perfectly fine. You'll still get the crap knocked out of you because they're really good over there too. But just coming over here and playing in college ball again is so weird, dude. It's so weird. But again, I think Auburn has an edge here, especially with being at home. Auburn is, really good when it all like at least in the Pearls era, Auburn is very good at playing at home. What the big thing Auburn needs to do in this one is really stay out of their own way. It's really what got them into some situations. Again, the loss to Tennessee really got when they got in their own way there. I would even say the Missouri game, there was just a mental thing in that one. And then again, that Georgia and A&M game just kind of just look at me wrong all the time. But again, gonna need a big game again from Keyshawn Hall. Todd Pettiford, gonna need him to really step up in this one. I think this is a great turnaround spot for him to start shooting better. Again, he's shooting 26% on the season. Out of the top 5 scorers, he is really out of the top 6. He is the worst 3-point shooter out of that. But again, Todd can be a superstar, and he will be a superstar. And I just don't know if it's a mental thing. But if he can just cool off and hit a couple big threes versus Alabama, I think you'll kind of see the Todd from last year really start to emerge again. It's just been a kind of a slow start. I mean, he's leading the team in assists, and I think that again the big issue here is just I don't think he should be playing point. I think he's a 2. Let KO play the 1, and I think you have a solved problem there with that one. But I think Auburn can pull this one out. And I'm going to pick the Auburn Tigers to get and cover against Alabama, get the win and cover versus Alabama. There we go. So, again, a shout out to all the Auburn students out there that are currently camping. Again, Pearlville, or I forgot what exactly they what they call it nowadays. But again, I don't think it's going to be as cold on Saturday as the first trip to Pearlville was. Just to see about that. Yeah, Saturday, 33 low. So it's going to be pretty cold. But it felt like 4 that first trip in 2022 to Pearlville that I had. But regardless, super stoked to see Auburn hopefully get a big win over Alabama this weekend. Now as we move on to Auburn women's basketball, currently in a grudge match right now with the Florida Gators. Auburn, should be they're down currently by do quick math 5 there. They were up at halftime, but Florida's kind of gone on a run here. 33-28 is the score there. Both teams are kind of shooting the same. Auburn just has missed a few more of their opportunities there. Auburn has missed about 6 more shots than Florida has in this one. And they're out rebounding them, which is good, but just need to get back in the turnovers. It's turnovers killing them right now. And Florida has 8 steals. So that's ridiculous. But yeah, it's currently in this 7 minutes left to go in the third quarter. So if it's still, I don't think it's still be going on whenever we get off of here, but Auburn has an opportunity to get back into that one and get back in the win column after the absolute ringer they have been going through over the past few weeks. This is the first non-ranked opponent Auburn's played in like a month, it feels like. So hopefully they can pull that one out from under them in this 4-game losing streak they have as well. And speaking of losing streaks, good Lord, Auburn softball in their season opener got the brakes blown off of them by North Florida. And I was keeping up with this one. I wasn't able to watch this one. This was bad. Auburn went down early, and Mm, mm, mm. 11-3 is just not a solid thing to talk about. I mean, I've tried to find the stats on it, but they haven't been posted yet. But from the looks of it, I mean, Auburn might have a pitching problem. At least early on, it looks like. But North Florida came out and they were swinging it. I mean, I was following it through Twitter. So they were just going absolutely crazy on it. And again, just an example of Auburn not getting in their own way with things. Again, I'm still fairly certain that this team is still going to come out with a pretty successful season. This is just a tough look to start off with. So hopefully that can be a turnaround. Auburn's defense committed 5 errors that earned North Florida 6 of those 11 runs. So that's bad. That is really, really bad. But again, I trust the Malveaux to turn it around. Again, this is game 1. They had to start off on the. Again, one thing is it was your first game of the season. You were on the road. You know, it's first. I'm reading the stat for that. Auburn has not played on the road in since 20. What was it at? I just saw it somewhere. It's been a while. I think they played Troy, and it was a tied game. It was 5-5. Yeah, Thursday marked Auburn's first true road game to open a season since facing Troy to open the 2014 campaign on February 6th. So that's almost exactly 12 years ago today. They faced Troy and with a 5-5 tie. That's how the game ended. So, Auburn has a chance to get back on the right side of the win column next week when they take on tomorrow. I did not know that was tomorrow. They had the Clearwater Invitational thing or leadoff classic is what it's called. But they will be in Clearwater and taking on quite a few good teams, especially number 9 Clemson. So hopefully that can be a successful weekend and try to bounce back after that. Maybe a look ahead spot. Probably weren't getting the whole starting lineup together, which fingers crossed that's what it was. Because again, it's embarrassing. Ending the game in 5, losing by that in 5 innings is absolutely insane. Maybe they're looking ahead, and maybe we didn't get to see what exactly they have to offer completely, but still positive about Auburn softball this season, and of course, super positive about Auburn gymnastics, number 12 in the land, getting ready to take on another ranked opponent in the Kentucky Wildcats. I'm not too sure what their ranking is. It's not on the website, but it would be a good opportunity for Auburn to get back in the win column. Being back in Neville Arena will be big as well. So that's going to be tomorrow at 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time on the SEC Network Plus. So Kentucky, apparently they've been kind of dealing with the same issues Auburn has with just consistency. But this being back at home will give Auburn the opportunity to get back in the win column. Been quite a while since they've experienced one of those, but this squad is ridiculous. But they have just had a ringer of the past couple weeks against teams that are highly ranked. But with that, we're going to go on and get out of here. Thank everybody for tuning in to the College Podcast. Again, Auburn athletics around spring are still doing very, very good things. Auburn baseball starts off next week, and they have they are getting hyped up right now. This is a team that could go as far as Omaha, and that based off the talent in that roster, warranted. But with that, we're gonna go and get on out of here. I'm Dylan. I'm able to take on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram as well at Dylan DYLNLARCK. And of course, you can find me right in the College League Podcast. Just like, comment, subscribe, leave your take on what you imagine is going to happen with this Auburn football team this upcoming fall. And with that, we're going to go and get on out of here and everything. And so with that being said, see y'all. And of course, War Eagle.